all, really. Dante and I were clutchmates, which was still highly unusual because our kind normally didn't lay more than one egg at a time, making us strange, even among our own. But Dante and I had hatched together and were raised together, and as far as anyone was concerned, he was my twin, my sibling, and my only friend. Apparently satisfied that we had not, in fact, forgotten the made-up backstory drilled so deep into my head that I could recite it in my sleep, Mr. Ramsay went back to scrolling through his tablet, and I went back to staring out the window. The ocean receded, the sparkling horizon dropping from view as we turned off the main stretch and entered a subdivision, with impressive white and rose villas lining the streets, surrounded by perfectly manicured lawns and palm trees. Some of these dwellings were truly enormous, making me stare in amazement. I'd never seen such huge houses except on television, or in the documentaries the teachers made us watch years ago when we were first learning about humankind, where they lived, how they acted, their behavior and family units, and language. We'd studied it all. Now we would be living among them. Excitement rose up again, making me even more impatient. I wanted out. I wanted to touch and feel and see the things beyond the glass, to finally experience it. My world, up until now, had been a large underground facility that I never saw the outside of, then a private school in the middle of the Great Basin, with no one around for miles, and only my brother and teachers for company. Safe, protected, far from prying human eyes, and possibly the most boring spot on the face of the planet. I squirmed against the seat again, accidentally hitting the back of the chair in front of me. "Ember," Mr. Ramsay said, a note of irritation in his voice. "Sit still." Scowling, I settled back, crossing my arms. Sit still, calm down, be quiet. The most familiar phrases in my life. I was never good at sitting in one place for long periods of time, though my teachers had tried their hardest to instill a little patience into me. "Patience," stodgy Mr. Smith had told me on more than one occasion, "is a virtue that holds especially true for your kind. The best laid plans are never conceived in a day. You have the luxury of time to think, time to plan, time to calculate and see everything come to fruition. Talon has survived for centuries and will continue to survive because it knows the value of patience. So what's the blasted hurry, hatchling?" I rolled my eyes. The blasted hurry was that I rarely had any time that was truly my own. They wanted me to sit, listen, learn, be quiet, when I wanted to run, shout, jump, fly. Everything in my life was rules. Can't do this, don't do that. Be here at this time, follow the instructions to the letter. It had gotten worse as I got older, every tiny detail of my life regulated and laid out for me until I was ready to explode. The only thing that had kept me from going completely nuts was looking forward to the day I turned 16, the day I would graduate from that isolated corner of no man's land and, if I was deemed ready, begin the next stage of training. I'd done everything I could to be ready for this, and it must have paid off, because here we were. Observe, assimilate, and blend in. That was our official mission, but all I cared about was that I was out of school and away from Talon. I'd finally get to see the world I'd studied all my life. The sedan finally pulled into a cul-de-sac of smaller but no less elegant villas, and rolled to a stop in front of a driveway in the very center. I peered through the window and grinned with excitement at the place that would be home for an indefinite length of time. The structure looming above us sat across a tiny lawn of short grass, scrub, and a single palm tree encircled in brick. Its walls were a cheerful, buttery yellow, the tiled roof a deep red. The top floor had huge glass windows that caught the afternoon light, and the front door stood beneath an archway, like the entrance to a castle, I thought. But best of all, through the gap between the house and its neighbor, I could just make out the silvery glint of water.